Hey, what's going on, everyone? I wanted to make a little video for the week since I won't be able to be on the back road on Thursday this week. My day job, or in this case, my evening job, gets in the way sometimes. Figured I'd give you some thoughts from last week at Texas and this coming week at Talladega. I'll try to do these more often when I can't make a show. I don't know if it'll be every week. But before we get to Talladega, I'll talk a little bit of Texas here. Chase Elliott finally gets back to victory lane. First time since 2022. And all I've been saying on the show, Chase, obviously in a Hendrick Motorsports car, could get it done, did get it done. That's all I wanted to see from this team. Go out there, contend for a win, and get a win. They made it happen. So I feel like we can look at Chase Elliott a lot differently now that he's got that monkey off of his back. My card was all right, not so great. I want to match up Bubba Wallace over Ty Gibbs. The race going to overtime. I just had a bit of instinct. We've had weird, unexpected chaos late in races the last 2 weeks. For the first time in a long time, we had 3 straight overtime races. Happened again. I won that bet. And this was might have even been Sunday morning. I see a Carson Hocevar top 10 on. I'm like, why not? Chaos can happen. Hocevar's run all right. Spire's run all right. That ended up hitting. Another bet I had that did not hit was Jimmy Johnson for a top 10. I just didn't expect him to run so poorly in the next gen cars, but it really shows how much different they are. I know that Jimmy was kind of falling off. He wasn't the same championship caliber driver. Even when he was going out in 2020, didn't make the playoffs, of course. And I just don't think it's going to happen, at least not anytime soon for Jimmy in the next gen. I know he has more races scheduled this year. I would say just avoid the 84 at all costs until Jimmy figures out how the hell to drive this next gen car. Drives a lot differently than the old car that he was able to win so much in. Now moving ahead to Talladega, looking at the entry list, there's a couple changes. Cody Ware is back. He's in the Rick Ware Racing number 15 car. And my question to Rick Ware is, what the hell, man? Kaz Grala, not the worst super speedway racer, a guy who brings some upside. I was really thinking that Rick Ware Racing might be starting to turn that corner, having a guy like Grala and Justin Haley in your other car. This is a step back in terms of taking Rick Ware more seriously, because your kid has been out of the Cup car for quite some time, and I just don't think that it's going to be a very good day for that 15 car. Someone who could be an unexpected good day for, we've got Shane van Gisbergen in the 16. I know, Rod and Seth, why are you bringing up SVG on a super speedway? First of all, those Wendy's paint schemes he'll be running in the Xfinity and Cup look spectacular. Don't rule out, obviously he's not going to win this race unless something ridiculous happens. Don't rule out a top 10 bet for Shane van Gisbergen. As I saw it, it's a plus 450. I think that, obviously he's running these Cup races out. He's running the road courses because he can win there. And he's running some unexpected tracks to keep his learning process moving. Obviously, running the full Xfinity season. But a place like Talladega, I do think he's going to be in the mix, try to be up in the pack, figure out how all this works in stage one. But I do think if he makes it through, if he kind of gets it, he'll have the full Xfinity race the day before. It could be a situation where, if you remember, this happened a lot more back in the old days. Doesn't happen as much now. You would have 4, 5, 6 guys just hang at the back, out of the pack for a big bulk of the race, and then move up toward the end to try to stay out of as much chaos as possible. That could be the case for Shane van Gisbergen. I think in stage one, if he can keep the car clean, run around the pack a little bit. Maybe in stage two, he'll run a little further, creep back, run a little further toward the back, maybe work in smaller packs back there if some of the other back markers or other people decide to sit back, and then maybe take a run at it at the end. Or maybe just sit back through the big one and the second big one and the third big one that we sometimes get at Talladega. Maybe that 16 car ends up toward the front near the end of the race. A couple other field fillers. Seth's favorite team, Beard Motorsports, is back in. Anthony Alfredo's in the 62. And BJ McLeod for Live Fast Motorsports back in it in the 78 this week as well. So I gave out a few outright picks, as I always do each week, on the website in-betweenmedia.com. The between bets, I usually give out 3 outrights. This week I gave out 4. Talladega is a bit more of a mess. But a couple of bonus outrights that I will shout out. Kyle Larson at plus 2,000. How often are you going to see an outright at plus 2,000? I think he may even have better odds to win the Indy 500 in a couple of weeks than he does here at a plus 2,000 at Talladega. Super Speedway luck has never been there for Larson. But these races can get so chaotic. They're so unexpected. And we know Larson's got a good car. Even if he's not the best Super Speedway racer, we have seen good drivers who are not the greatest super speedway racers end up in victory lane at super speedways. A guy like Larson feeling real good right now, been qualifying real good. This could be the race where Larson gets a super speedway win. Another number that I'll shout out is Ricky Stenhouse Jr. at plus 3,500. We've seen a lot of guys punch their playoff tickets early, and we've even seen the unexpected winner, Daniel Suarez at Atlanta. This is going to be a year, as it is every year, especially in the next gen car, that it's going to be difficult and it's probably going to take a win to get in the playoffs. A guy like Ricky Stenhouse taking advantage of the opportunity at Talladega and being able to punch his ticket just as he did last year in the Daytona 500 and not have to worry about it for the bulk of the summer could be very nice for that single car JTG Doherty team. And hey, if you guys know me, you knew this was coming. Alex Bowman at plus 2,200, of course. You got to keep in mind any thoughts on Bowman that come from me are with those Ally 48 tinted glasses. But hey, Bowman has become a better super speedway driver than he has been before. Oftentimes, we would see him run up front and just not even necessarily get caught up in the mess. At some points, creating that mess, not knowing how to run up front into the super speedway. Talladega last fall, running out front with about 13 to go, ends up in the middle somehow, couldn't defend at the front, ends up going all the way to the back, even after the big crash on the last lap, still finished in the mid-20s. But remember, he ran pretty consistently at Daytona in the 500, and if they hold that caution flag button for another half a second, quarter of a second, just milliseconds, he would have been the winner of that race. But all right, now we'll pull off the cheap Amazon glasses, much to the delight of my face. So next weekend is Dover. We are going to be there in between media, going to be at track in Dover for the second time in the company's history. Seth and I are going to be on site in Dover, Delaware. If you're going to be there, shout us out. We already have some thoughts to meet up with some members of our audience. For our Dover show next Thursday, we're planning on moving it up a little bit from the normal time at 8:30. Of course, we'll have the details on that on the Twitter at IBT_media. And hey, best of luck with your Talladega bets, and thanks for watching.